I'm Bermuda.
And I'm Phil.
And we're
And
playing.
today we're playing Dark Heresy. And on to Warren for where we are next, for things.
Stuff. Um,
We're very organized.
Clearly. Right. So where are we? Okay. So where we left off last week is the acolytes were tasked by Inquisitor Bracken, who sort of stormed onto the light of Alantaris to purge alongside the Inquisitorial stormtroopers that were sent with you. The the heretical cell you discovered, led by Lord Dark, um, Lord Dark Oberk, who was in league with Kark to some degree, and also apparently with some sort of trade allegiance of the Adeptus Astartes, because you saw at least one of them anyway. At least I have some sort of dealings with them. Chaos can be tend to be very alliances of convenience more than anything else. So whether or not they're completely in bed with one another or they were simply trading information is hard to tell. But you guys destroyed the cell completely, killed Dark Obrook, discovered the fate of House Obrook, where you literally saw him sacrificing his own father to Chaos. What became of his mother, you don't know, but she was nowhere to be found, so she may have long been dead, or she may have fled. It's impossible to tell. But you more or less uncovered the fate of the house, which is completed Queen Sarah's objective, and she is quite happy with you because she doesn't really care what happened to them so long as legally it's known what happens to them. And because they were her vassal house, she essentially inherits all their titles and rights and any of their revenues and whatever. So she essentially owns that bastion. If she ever gets it back is kind of hard to say because the Inquisition has basically, you know, taken it over by inquisitorial edict and are basically scouring the place for any and all information. So if she ever gets it back, is kind of up in the air. But she's got all their titles and everything else, so she's happy with that. Um, so basically, in the month or so after your successful operation and the gleaning of any information you could gain from the house and the cell and everything, or sorry, the heretical cell below the bathhouse. Basically, you spend the next month more or less in downtime, not by your choosing or by the choosing of Interrogator Tyrus. It seems Inquisitor Bracken has something of a grudge against your master, or at least doesn't trust you enough to continue exposing you to the things you've been revealed to, like the existence of demons, the horrible heretical cults, and things like that. So he doesn't particularly trust you, and he seems to have started to use his own acolytes and his own cadre rather than yours. And since he technically outranks Interrogator Tyrus here, he's more or less put the Light of Alantaris on hold and put you as part of the blockade forces that the Inquisition has put around Thadia Primaris for the time being. More or less forcing all of you to like be, constantly on hold should he need you. And it's been like that for weeks now. Like more than a month has passed, so you guys automatically gain your monthly stipend. So if anyone needs to calculate that, now would be the time.
Did you take our badge and gun and tell us we've got only 24 hours to complete the case?
Basically, yes. So yeah, the Light of Alantaris is in a holding position in high orbit with the rest of the Inquisitorial fleet surrounding the planet and the Imperial Navy. The planet itself, things have escalated to a number of degrees. Like the small bits of information that you've been passed down on the few instances where you've been permitted to see Interrogator Tyrus, give you a rather bleak image of how things are progressing on the planet. Once the Inquisition learned that there is the taint of chaos to some degree on the planet, things got a lot more dire for the planet as a whole. Any sense of holding back to preserve the industrial output or the peoples of the planet gave way to the need to contain it, essentially. So the trader group who have actually coalesced into an organized unit now, the trader families and the trader cities. They are now calling themselves the Balerian Hegemony, based upon the large city you guys were sieging as the largest city of the traders called Balerion. It's in the east, as you know. The Imperial Navy received orders from the Inquisition to stop throwing, any punches and to start basically orbital bombardment. They began with heavy scale bombardment by Medusa, and basilisks, and then they, began with heavy Valkyrie bombers and everything else. Then they escalated once the, obvious entrenchments of the semi-destroyed city became obvious. They sort of began orbital bombardment with macro batteries and lance cannons. So Balarian, a large majority of the outskirts of the city and a great larger part of the infrastructure has been reduced to absolute rubble, but that's only caused the defenders to have basically ready-made urban battlements to defend it with. So though millions probably died in the bombardments, the cities are still resisting, and much to the chagrin of the Inquisition and the Imperial commanders, the heavy-handed approach they took caused 3 other city-states on the planet to swap sides and join with traders, causing a no small amount of ripples of executions and things to go through the Imperial Navy and the Inquisition fleets for failures to see this, eventuality, among other things. So things have decayed rapidly, and the orcs have also taken it upon themselves to use the human infighting to loot a number of small cities, and their war bands are basically rampaging across the planet in most of the southern and eastern hemispheres now. So things have decayed rapidly, to say the least. Also, it seems that Inquisitor Bracken, who's been in charge, are being given basically as a reward for his success, even though it was your success, basically, in exposing the chaotic influences on the capital city of Veritant, has been given full martial law over the city, and his will now is above that of the Queen's. And he's essentially taken to sending large purgation parties to kill the innocent and the heretic alike, and things have decayed rapidly there as well. And he seems to be giving most of the Inquisitional forces and resources to purging Verthand rather than assisting in the military, attack against the Balarian hegemony. So that's how things have progressed on the planet. But to make things worse, roughly a month and a week into your furlough on the Light of Alantaris, with basically nothing to do except be bored, train, or whatever else you do in the meantime, get to know each other, talk between yourselves, whatever. Another incident happened, which sort of shows the decaying state of the Ixned sector as a whole. A large transport vessel, a vagabond-class merchant trader, it's not a massive vessel, it's about 2 kilometers long, it has a crew of 18,000. One of the transport ships from the fortress world of Scythe, which is just south of Thadia Primaris there, if you look on the map, which was supplying the fleet, about a month and a week after your thing, a month and a week after your thing, it jumped into the Thadia system and came on approach to the system. It was classed as bringing munitions and reinforcements and supplies to the orbiting blockade fleet. However, when it approached, it ignored all Laud hailers and Vox communications for 3 days, and several strike craft were sent to intercept it, board it, and figure out what happened to it. The strike craft did Vox that they reached it on time. The boarding ships, docked with it. They encountered no resistance. And then a few hours into the operation, all communications with the vessel, which was called the Tetrarch, by the way, went completely dark. The strike cruisers, everything, all Vox communication with the ship was lost, but the ship continued on its path to the planet. So the Imperial Navy got very wary of this and sent 2 Gladius-class frigates to intercept it, and if necessary destroy it, because it wasn't answering Vox lauders and everything else. However, they only managed to intercept it about a few hours before it reached high orbit around Thadia Primaris, and when they did, it did the inexplicable. It did a short-range warp transition of less than a few nanoseconds, basically, and appeared almost directly outside the Imperial naval fleet in an absolutely insane move of astral navigation,
How
basically.
much skill would that take of a navigator to perform such a thing?
It wasn't so much skill as blind suicide.
Okay.
So immediately the second it transitioned, it basically got launched out of the warp at a very weird angle, almost drifting in space, and its engines ruptured almost immediately.
Okay.
It then cascaded into a Grand Cruiser and exploded, destroying both the cruiser itself and several hundred strike craft and small, additional support ships around it, killing several 100,000 Imperial naval personnel and God knows how many else. So this attack or suicide attempt was completely inexplicable. No one has any idea what the hell it was caused on. But in the ensuing chaos that occurred, a great many of the Imperial naval captains in the orbital fleet thought they were under attack from external threats. And in the chaos and confusion that happened, a small void battle also occurred, in which two additional light cruisers were destroyed and a frigate was crippled. Also in the ensuing chaos, the Imperial Navy, at least a small detachment of them, consisting of a cruiser, frigate, and 3 strike ships, broke off from the fleet and transitioned into the warp. The last communication received from them was that they believed that basically the hegemony had infiltrated the fleet and had caused a mass dissension in the ranks, and basically they warp transitioned off to God knows where else because they basically it was chaos, it was total confusion. You guys in the light of Alantaris saw the space battle that happened. Basically, it was brief, only lasted a few hours, but in the chaos, several ships were crippled or destroyed, and a small contingent of the Imperial Navy basically went into the warp and went off God knows where. So the Inquisition sent a small task force to find out where they went and bring them back, and that was about a week ago. And no one's heard from them since. But they teleported off somewhere in the direction of what's the world? Pixis or Pixis, whatever you want to call it. This mining world here. So the Inquisitorial Task Fleet went off to find them and bring them back, and probably court-martial or summarily execute the captains for their incompetence or whatever. So the fleet is still very strong. But between this craziness with the Vagabond class transport ship and the ensuing retarded battle that basically happened, it's been weakened to somewhat, and this has caused a no small amount of anarchy and chaos in the fleet, and basically the arbitrators have been going between the fleets, basically acting as military police and reinforcing order and everything else. And it's basically been chaos. Things have evolved rapidly since then. On the good side of things, Queen Sarah was permitted to send you your reward, and that arrived about 3 weeks into your furlough. She sent you a small chest with her thanks, and inside the chest there was 6,000 throne guilds. Okay.
I guess we split it 5 ways since fucking Mira doesn't like money, right?
That is correct.
Split it 6 ways, and then Mira can give all of her money to one person.
No.
1,200 each.
So how are we dividing the chest? 5 or 6?
1,200 each.
Unless I say that each get 1,000, I just give the rest to George. So he gets.
Well, it depends. Are we splitting it 5 ways or 6 ways? Because if it's 5 ways, we get 1,200. If it's 6,
Let's do it 5 ways. It's easier. Come on.
Yeah.
Then go ahead.
Okay, so that's basically everything. The summary that happened in the month and a half or so since you guys have been put on furlough, basically. And as I said, things have deteriorated rapidly. Every time you meet Interrogator Tyrus, it seems like Inquisitor Bracken is doing his best to keep him away from you. But you can tell the few snippets of information he's giving you, and by the way he talks, he thinks things are getting out of control and things are getting very grave. And even though the Inquisition hasn't found any further evidence of chaos incursion on Thadia Primaris, the simple fact it was there is enough to give them cause to escalate things even further if things deteriorate much more. So, in desperation about, yesterday basically, Adept Almala, who is his seneschal, more or less while you guys were in the cafeteria, essentially passed you by and passed you a piece of parchment, basically pleading with you to meet Interrogator Tyrus in his personal dining quarters in the staterooms of the Light of Alantaris, and that you're to make all haste there and be as cautious and unseen as you possibly can when you come to this meeting. And he has a mission for you that is going to be completely off the books that he needs you to fulfill. And he says that the fate of not only the fleet, the navy, and Hadia Primaris, but perhaps the sector is at stake, or the subsector. Sorry. So he believes that the Inquisition and especially Bracken have been completely blinded by the events of things that are happening at Hadia Primaris, and that Silence Beckon demands that Carrick is dealt with finally and once and for all. So you know where he is. You have basically from the information you took from both the Obrook estate and the heretical cell below the bathhouse. You have basically the letters. You have a pretty good idea of where he's hiding, and you know he is hiding in the city of Balerion, which is the trader outpost, and that he's hiding in a now unfortunately ruined cathedral to the God Emperor, as it was quite heavily damaged in the orbital bombardment, but according to Imperial intelligence, it was being used by the traders as a armory and bastion, basically, inside the city. So they had no choice, as damning as it was, but to bombard the place, basically. So it's believed, and all evidence points, that Carrick is hiding inside this cathedral, inside the main sort of thoroughfare through Balerion, and you guys are probably going to be sent there to find him. So to find out any more details, you'll have to go to the Inquisitor, or the Interrogator. Sorry. So
Quick question.
Does that? Yeah.
What clothes am I given?
You're just given normal, robes, basically.
Like soccer robes?
Yes, essentially.
Alright, cool.
Just normal woolen robes. But you guys have a bit of money now, but you know the Interrogator is going to send you on a mission of some kind, probably to find him or do something with Carrick, which will mean infiltrating the Balerion hegemony while they're in the middle of a giant war with the Imperium, basically, with all the other chaos with the orcs and shit going on. So if you guys want to buy anything, now would be the time.
I asked George, can you make an acquisition check for something that's rare? But
I already did the inquiry.
oh, you've already done inquiry.
I rolled 2.
Alright, thank you.
How can we go about finding some clothes that makes it look like we're part of the blah 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 hegemony?
The Balerion hegemony. They are mostly used the same Imperial Guard uniforms or the planetary uniforms that the rest of the noble houses do, except for distinguishing friend or foe, they've painted most of the armor red and removed a lot of the Imperial sigils, or at least cut them off, or destroyed them in some way. So they basically have Imperial Guard armor that's mostly just painted red.
Can we go about getting that? Because I'm bad at disguise rolls, apparently.
You could take an Imperial Guard armor and paint it red, but I mean they're obviously using more than just that, if you know what I mean. Like, they have code signs, they have battle cants and everything else that you guys just don't know, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, I guess I was just meaning for the long range, not really noticing us.
Yeah, I mean, you guys could perhaps on your way there, kill some, pick some up. You could just get Imperial Guard uniforms perhaps and paint them red. I mean, you can buy Imperial Guard flak armor and just simply paint it red if you want to. I mean, that's something you can actually buy from the armory. So
yeah. Does anyone want any of this armor, or are we not going to go with that because of whatever? You guys can't be bothered. We're just going to run in, hit people in the face.
It means buying a whole. We'll just see
Scavenge
how
some.
it goes. We'll end up killing someone, then we'll take their armor if we need
I mean,
Take it off their dead bodies.
If we put it on, is that actually removing our other armor?
well, Guard flak armor, yeah, it is. Guard flak armor
3.
is 4.
Oh,
No, it covers all locations. It has AP4 and it costs 300 strong gold.
Yeah, I just bought some carapace armor, so I have 5 all over.
And it will mean taking off the power armor for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, also we're going in with someone, with a Sister of Battle. I don't think they're, like... It's not gonna work that well.
Well, there's women in the Imperial Guard. Warhammer 40k is not
Yeah, yeah.
Well, don't get me wrong, I mean, Grimdark is sexist as shit in some ways, but, like, when it comes to dying for the Emperor, I don't think they care what gender you are.
Sort of like an Imperial Sisters of Battles are like what, like 6'5", you know, like not a standard serving woman.
They're generally normal women, but, like, I
Alright.
mean, they're just ridiculously faithful to the Emperor, so, I mean, they're probably anywhere between, like, standard female sizes. I guess they're probably, like, taller than average women, generally, but, like, I wouldn't go much more than, like, 5'8", like, 6'1", or something, so.
Okay.
They're not, like, genetically engineered, you know, super women like the Space Marines are, so.
Have to be buff though, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a, you know, militant order that's, you know, based on battle, so I presume they have, like, fairly serious training regimens. So.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's up to you guys how you want to approach this, whatever you need, but, you do know that after you talk to you, like, the interrogator tells you some sparse things for information. He says, the following things. Prepare for heavy weather as Thadia Primaris is entering its storm season, and he's sending you down in an area that's known for storms. Secondly, you'll be infiltrating a city, so if there's anything you need for infiltration, that would be helpful. And we already know Carrick is a psyker of prodigious strength, so prepare for a battle with a psyker. So, and you know, you might need to fight, you know, the Balerian Hegemony's guard if you encounter them and they figure out who you are. So. Then God knows what else other crazy chaos shit Carrick has, if anything.
We're just all buy jump packs and we jump over the walls, alright?
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
can do it if you're trained in jetpacks, sure.
I don't think any of us are, but you know. Night cloak.
I think Mira can become a Seraphim, which is like a Sister of Battle with a jump pack, so.
So the city we are infiltrating in, was it the one that you said it was destroyed?
Remember when you rescued Colonel Demetrius? Remember you were outside the walls of a large city that the orcs were also attacking from the south?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's called Balerion, and it was orbitally bombarded, and, you know, nuked to shit, so... It's basically a ruin, but, like, there's still, like, millions of people inside it, and a lot of them are guards, and because it's a ruin, when you destroy cities, they tend to, like, make very good, you know, defenses. Ruined buildings and shit tend to act as, like, you know, ready-made battlements, basically. So the city has, like, been bombarded. It's not, like, utterly destroyed, but it's, like, a ruin compared to what it was, if you know what I mean. Like,
How much does a Baneblade tank cost?
More than you will ever earn.
How much does a Lehman Russ then?
I don't think they're going to give you a Lehman Russ for this, because seeing as how it's like infiltration, but I mean...
It's my style of infiltration, Warren. We take in the goddamn tank.
Yeah, I noticed.
Warren, do you remember the name of that device that does the opposite of making loud noises?
It's stunners, I think.
Stummers, yeah.
We might want
Yeah, if you all got stummers, that would be pretty good. I think you already have a multi-key. Flow has it. Yeah.
Nymph skins, they're only 40 each, and I think it's in Only War, but they make you immune to, like, thermal vision. Like, they can't see you in that.
Yeah, but you have to wear it out. You have to wear it instead of your armor and stuff, so...
You can wear it under your armor, can't you?
No.
Sure?
Yes. Because I remember asking something like that before, and I'm quite sure you cannot, yeah. Because I was going to wear it on my assassin in Hariel's Dark Heresy, but you can't, because it's instead of other armor, so...
It says using a can of synth skin, so, like, you spray it on yourself?
Yes. But then that becomes your armor.
Alright.
Yeah.
Warren, a stammer is average. Do I get it automatically, or do I need to roll?
Let me look up real quick. Availability on that. It's average, yeah?
Yes.
No, it's an ordinary test, so it's just flat.
Do you guys say we should get stummers?
Yeah, everyone should get stummers.
How
They
much
give you-
and where do
they
we
give you-
roll for these?
Well, he's doing it right now. They give you plus 30 to silent move, so...
They cost 25 throne guild.
I'm going to reroll that.
Can I roll instead? Just so you...
Sure.
But if he doesn't reroll now and you don't get it, then... Oh, nice.
Yep, so you find them, yeah.
Alright guys, we'll buy a stink bomb. It only costs 7 front gout, and we'll just use it to get people to run away from the location.
No, just get rocks and throw it, just like, you know... People are like, huh? What was that? And then we use the bow and, like, shoot them in the head.
You should all have plenty of cash, anyway.
I gave all mine to George after buying my armor.
I'd like to buy a grapnel, and it's common.
Yeah, a line and grapple is basically just a grapple hook.
Yeah. Is common like automatic? Is that
It's routine.
more common than average?
It's routine, so it's plus 10.
Oh, how can I sell my nice tapestry and high-quality hunting rifle?
You would need to find someone that would be actually willing to buy them. Like, the arms master would buy the rifle, but he won't buy the tapestry. You need to find, like, someone on the planet to buy the tapestry.
Okay, just rechecking. I know someone else was using the high-quality hunting rifle because it adds something extra.
Yeah,
Does anyone
I'm
else want
using it.
this, or should I just sell it to the guy?
I could use a weapon, but I ain't gonna use it. Like, if my warp shit goes to shit, then a weapon I could start to use it, but yeah.
You're probably just going to do warp shit anyway, so I'm going to sell that.
Alright.
Do you have any kind of price for that, Warren, or
For what, sorry?
the high-quality hunting rifle that we found in the
Yeah,
house?
there's... it'll be a hunting rifle, but then with, like, best quality. So the price will be whatever that is. Let me just check it.
Cheers.
Okay, so it's best, so it multiplies the cost by 10. So what's the normal hunting rifle cost? Normal hunting rifle costs 100 go, so it'll be 1,000. But because you're selling it, you'll need to barter with the guy. So does anyone have barter?
I do.
Okay, we'll go ahead and roll a barter check for him.
Is it opposed?
Yeah.
We should buy a privacy field generator, guys.
Okay, so he will only buy it off you for 25% of the price, so you'll get 250 crown gold.
Yeah, I'll screw it. I'll just go for that.
George, look up Macarian Handbook, Tools of the Trade, page 87, privacy field generator. It's expensive, so you decide if you want to buy it or not, but it could be useful.
Okay.
It's the privacy field generator.
Sorry, you said 80? What?
87.
87.
That's PDF.
Alright, anything else you guys want to get?
Does anyone need anything? Because I can give money towards things if you want that thing.
Did everyone buy a stummer then, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone buy.
Just... Sorry.
Remuda, you didn't get the grapple.
Yeah,
wanna...
I'll bump it over with a fade point.
Okay, yeah, then you can get it, sure.
Someone buy me a stomach, please.
Yes, it's 25, right?
Yeah.
It's 25.
Beer pack a sec while you guys finish up.
George, could you roll me a check for a nice tapestry salesman, shop man?
It'd have to be on Planet Man, not on.
Oh, okay. So, like, the guy that owns the office, no, screw it. I'm totally gonna give it to the guy that, like, is like our, what's his name? He's our, the interrogator. He's gonna love it.
Sure. Like, we haven't seen him, and like we're going to meet him in secrecy. So yeah, just like, and say, here you go.
I'm bringing a tapestry.
Yes, secret. How much does this thumb away?
2 kilos.
I was reading the privacy field generator.
Yeah.
And it does not hide us. It just basically creates a wall between the outside of the field and it removes vision, but it does not hide. Anyone that's on the outside will know that there's something there. The description they give is the field itself glows warmly, creating the illusion that the characters and objects within are beyond gently sipping pane of frosted glass. So it does not hide us, but gives privacy.
Oh, okay.
What's that thing called that knocks people out, by the way?
It's a drug.
Bolt weapons.
A drug.
It's a drug, yeah.
The drug that incapacitates people is called slab. You still have like 5 doses of that shit.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Warren, I'm bringing the tapestry. I'm going to give it as a nice gift to the interrogator.
Alright.
I'm sure he's going to love it.
I'll
I want to see it in his office next time we go there.
I'll probably buy a picked fly.
What?
A picked fly?
Yeah.
Okay.
If my arm got chopped off and I got a bionic replacement and then tried to regrow my arm, what would happen?
Pain?
Alright.
A picked fly is basically a fly that records stuff, so we could use that to what's the word? Scout ahead with that. But I would not buy it with all my money. If you guys want to buy this, it would be the whole group. It's
Put it 5 ways, I'm more than happy.
Don't have any money. 4 ways.
4 ways, I'm more than happy. How much is it?
It's 1,200.
1,200? Ooh.
1,200. Is
Yes.
Bermuda poor as dirt? You just got like a grand.
I have, but yeah, I just got 1,200, and now there it goes.
It's like, he's not saying one person, it's like split it 4 ways.
Yeah, like
divide that
we
by
still
four.
have to divide.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like that much each, and I was like, God
No,
damn.
no.
300 each.
Ollie, why are you so poor too? When we just,
I give away all my money.
where did you give it?
George.
Me, yeah.
Also, I bought like armor since got blown up.
So 300, yeah.
Yeah, but I still have to make the test. It's a rare item. Do you know the modifier?
Rare. Okay, rare is difficult, so it's -10.
Okay, I buy it. And I trust it to our tech priest.
Why, thank you.
Picked Fly, it's on page 84, the tools of the trade.
Alright, so, anything else?
Is there anything that can protect us from a powerful psyker, guys?
Well, you are also informed you guys are going into some heavy storm weather, so you can buy storm gear for yourselves, which is basically just like raincoats, water sealed ration packs and stuff like that, and things you might probably need.
Where is that stuff?
It's like sort of off the books stuff. You can buy all this weather gear for basically just like 20 Tron gold apiece.
Okay.
You've got a heavy duty raincoat that's like camouflage and everything else.
Is there
Pick that out for me.
is there a high quality one? A good quality one?
Yeah, you can buy all the better quality ones for the normal increases and everything else.
Okay. So what's the best price?
So the best price is 10 times that, so 200. That will get you
No.
a very high quality one.
I asked base price.
Oh, the base price is 20.
20. Okay.
Yeah, for like the rain equipment. Yeah.
Are we buying rain equipment?
20 thrown gelt. Unless you want to get
Okay.
soaking wet.
Yeah, because the interrogator informed you that you're going into Tadia Primaris' storm season, basically.
How about we just all buy a grab shoot each, and then we a halo jump into the city.
Because you'll probably get shot. You're not just going to sit down in the middle of the city. You do realize that he's going to drop you off somewhere else and get you to infiltrate it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like, oh no, how about we just fly over and we'll just halo drop? That's an idea.
Same reason the Allies didn't paratroop people into Berlin in the middle of World War II.
Does this weather stuff that we're buying include like tents, food, water,
Yes.
and so on? Okay.
It includes all the gear for, survival in a stormy sort of condition. With a lot of rain.
Okay. So I bought the best one, best quality.
Yeah, includes, chemical ignition things for starting fires without, dry tinder and stuff like that.
And I still have the survival kit that could help us. Yeah.
I mean, you guys can even see Thadia Primaris. If you look at the viewports of the Light of Alantaris or one of the observation decks, you can see that the entire planet is now covered in a massive sort of storm layer of cloud, if you know what I mean. It does this every couple of years as it circles its star, basically.
Someone pick us up a just standard poor weather form.
Yeah,
I
it's
will.
20. How poor are you, dude? Jesus.
Oh, I bought the armor and just gave it the rest away to George.
Oh.
Right, 20 thrown gelt. There you go. There it is, buddy. Hey,
buddy.
Who still has the Force Sword, by the way?
I think
yeah, we handed it in.
We handed
yes.
to the quartermaster and said because the other ones, the interrogator and the inquisitor, were busy. We trusted to him, and he said he said he would have to report.
Have to tell the interrogator. Yeah, I know. He still has it, and the interrogator, had it looked over by the astropaths, and they sensed no taint in it, so he leaves the weapon to you if you want to keep it.
Okay. With that report, I think we can trust it to our psyker.
Don't you mean entrusted to selling because he's probably going to explode it?
I've exploded once so far. You're not a very trustworthy person, Mr. Tech Priest. Not trustworthy, trusting. Sorry.
Even so, psychers are scum of the earth. He has valor. He went blinded into mid combat and exploded. I think that's something to.
Now I'm gonna talk about the way Zarkov now suddenly has eyes again.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Gone through some form of procedure, Zarkov? I see you can see now.
The natural eyes. The warp has gifted me with this power.
That is horrific. Please do not do these things.
I spoon out an eye and then regrow it. No, I don't.
With that information, I'm going to ask any high-head psyker in the ship if that's normal or heresy, or if it's heretic.
You already know, like, psychers have all kinds of weird shit, and that, like, warp healing is not uncommon in the higher echelons of the Imperium, so you already know, being a noble, that you've heard of, like, noble sons and daughters who maybe had, like, an accident while they were out hunting or something, and they brought them to... If they don't get a bionic replacement, some of the more wealthy ones are less Emperor-fearing, brought their sons or daughters to psychers who regrow their limbs and things like that for them for a price and things like that. So you do know it's a thing, yes?
Okay, so I don't talk much about Zarkov's eyes.
Okay. So anything else you guys want to buy, or do you want to go meet Interrogator Tyrus in this little sort of shady, off-the-books meeting? Everybody's good? Yep.
Being the noble that I am, I want to organize a party on the meeting spot.
Being the noble that I am, I want the Pink Panther theme song to be playing while we sneak into this meeting.
While you're meeting him at his dining room, he knows you're coming. He's just
bringing him.
Yeah, but other people aren't supposed to know, so we gotta be like Pink Panther.
Mm-hmm.
I'm carrying a tapestry on my shoulder.
You made a cape out of it.
So someone...
I make my own way there. I don't go with the group.
Okay, well, I mean, you have to sneak into this area because you've been forbidden by Inquisitor Bracken to really leave your area of the ship, if you know what I mean. So someone will have to roll a silent move and concealment for everybody else.
I'm probably the best at that.
Are there any astropaths in near his area, or any head psychers?
The astropaths, the navigators, and everything else are all always keep to themselves, and they stay in their own quarters. So the navigator rarely leaves the navigation dome near the bridge, and the astropathic choir almost never leaves the astropathica, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
We have stammers and we have camel cloaks, so...
I don't.
Oh.
I also don't.
I think it's only you.
Yeah, I don't have it either.
I thought that was a thing we all had. Okay, sorry.
Does anyone have agility higher than 40?
23.
Nope.
33.
36.
56?
36.
Oh, okay. So, alright.
Yeah.
Remember, you got plus 30 to solid move from the Stormer. So.
Warren, what are you using for the Force Blade rules? Since I can't find anything.
Yeah, there is no Force Blade in the default game.
Oh god.
It uses the exact same rules as the Death Watch one.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank god you have good agility.
That rolled a 1.
Let's see if concealment goes as well. No. I don't have a tick.
Really quiet.
Quiet but obvious.
Yeah, you rolled a 94.
It's like they're
Ladies
both
and gentlemen.
opposites, yeah. 100, then 94.
You
So
could
they're
re-roll the
wrong,
concealment if you're sketchy about it, but the other one is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to re-roll it? Or...
Yeah, well, that was worth it.
Okay, well, they're opposed, so you never know, so let me just roll some stuff. Okay, so Flo gathers you all up from your various quarters near the lower staterooms and slowly takes you in the dead of night, in the middle of the Light of Alantaris' sleep cycle, to the upper staterooms. You avoid the ascenders and take like the stairs and the junctions and the various maintenance hatches on your way up. No one seems to bother you or really spot you, or they can't hear anything. You spot the odd guard every now and then, but no one seems to really bother you or pay much attention to you or even see you really, so far as you can tell. You get up to the upper rooms and everything is deadly quiet, as only people of extreme power are up here, and generally things are well guarded so that no one infiltrates it. You guys get up to the his own Interrogator Tyrus's private quarters area and slip into the room and then head toward the dining area. So far as you can tell, nobody heard or saw you, but you cannot be sure. But since no one stopped you, you're pretty much assuming you got there on time without being spotted. When you slip into the area, you can see that his quarters are more or less completely pitch black, except for the room, or except for the door that leads into the dining room, has a low, dim light coming from probably the fireplace inside the room. And you guys enter. In the room, you see Interrogator Tyrus and Adept Almala in hushed conversation in front of the fireplace in the corner. This is the same dining room you had the meeting in a while ago, and he just sort of turns around as he says the door, or hears the door opening, sort of gives you a nod, and then indicates to close the door and come to him.
Can I go over there and give him the delightful tapestry?
Sure.
Okay. Here's a tapestry.
He look
forward and shoots it.
He looks sort of taken aback and says, "I thank you, thank you, Tech Priest." And he hands the tapestry to Adept Almala, who just sort of puts it in the corner and comes back. He just sort of looks at you all and says, "I hope you're prepared for the mission ahead. We take great risks in what is to come. No one else in the Inquisition must know of your true goals here. I have prepared I have informed one of the more loyal captains under my command to prepare the Arvis lighter for launch, and I have scheduled a routine transportation assignment to Verthand. However, you will not be going to Verthand. So once you breach the lower atmosphere, the lighter will take you to the swamps of Morat on the northern outskirts of Balerion, where it will deposit you, and you will sneak into the city of Balerion to the ruined cathedral, His Holy Grace, where we believe Carrick and whatever a band of traitorous heretics works with him is currently hiding. All information and evidence points towards this being his hideout and his location, and I believe that everything that is occurring here is somehow part of his heinous works against the Imperium and the Emperor, and he must be stopped. As you all know, things have escalated extremely in the last few weeks, and things are only going to continue to get worse unless we rip this cancer from this world as quickly as we can. Inquisitor Bracken is blinded by his monodominant insanity. He sees only, the heresy he wants to see, and I believe his hatred for our master is blinding him to the true threat on this world. And he sort of looks over you all and says, I cannot say that this will be an easy mission or that you will have any backup or support of any kind. Once you leave, no one will know where you are or what is occurring. You will be completely on your own. Once Carrick is dealt with, I cannot say for sure that you will be able to escape with your lives or even be extracted by the Inquisition. However, you must do your best in the name of the Emperor to get rid of this curse that has befallen Thadia and the greater sector. As I informed you in my message, Thadia has entered its storm season. So I think conditions on the planet have gotten extremely, it's not pleasant to say the least. Storm weather racks the planet, and flooding has begun on many of the lower plainlands, turning them into swamp, which has become quite difficult to traverse. The larger cities and larger areas of human habitation are, well levied and well prepared for these seasons, so you shouldn't have much difficulty once you get out of the lower plainlands of Morat and enter Balerian Prime. But other than that, you should be careful. Orcs, we have no idea of the disposition of the orcs. They seem to have broken off into roving war bands and headed off in every direction. We haven't had any recent reports of them being in the swamp of Morat, but they tend to surprise us. So don't be, don't let your guard down. The orcs are more cunning than people give them credit for. On top of that, the Balerian military guards are swarming all over the main capital city. So there are still thousands of them defending it against the Imperial troops, and the battle still rages. So don't be surprised if you get caught up in the middle of it. But you must make it to the cathedral and get rid of Carrick. This is your only objective in this. I know I've asked a great deal of you, and I'm asking it even more now, but you must do this for the fate of mankind. And he sort of looks at you all solemnly and says, I swear, if you survive this, more will be revealed to you, and your position inside the Inquisition will elevate with it. But my hands are tied right now. Though our master is, almost omnipresent and has great power in the Inquisition, he cannot directly interfere with things that are occurring on this world now that Bracken and the Ordo Hereticus has taken control. Their mandate to remove the Chaos Taint has superseded our own. And then he sort of looks at you all and says, but we know the grave threat that is truly happening here. I won't ask all of you to, die for a pointless cause, but you all know the gravity of the situation here. If there's anything you'd like to say or any questions, now would be the time, brothers and sisters.
If I may be so prudent, what happened to Colonel Demetrius? He's still around.
He nods and says, Demetrius was most forthcoming. I believe him to be a righteous man, though his the time he cost us may have made a great many of the things that came to pass could have been prevented if he had have simply seen the greater threat. He currently languishes in the dungeon of the Light of Alantaris, not by my hand. I would have freed the man a while ago. However, Bracken seems to believe he may be a traitor, so his fate is yet undecided.
Could we perhaps use him? Like the Kadra could use an extra gun, for we are not the best versed in combat. If we could somehow free him.
He looks at you solemnly for a moment and says, I'm not sure if that would be wise. I mean, you could attempt to if you want to, but the lighter is prepared to depart within the hour. And I do not believe I could get you the clearance to take him out. If you were to free him, you would probably end up in bloodshed.
I just nod my head.
The choice is yours. If you choose to do it, I won't stand against it. But remember, the overall importance of this mission is to finally deal with Carrick, one way or the other.
I have an unusual request. In case of I die, I'd like to...
You don't want to die a virgin?
No, Victus is not a virgin. He's a noble.
Long time ago.
Yeah. I have an unusual request. I ask for in case I die, for a letter to be sent to the head of my family, communicating my fate.
he just sort of nods and says, "If any of you have any family or those you consider friends who want to know that you died serving the Emperor, I will inform them if the mission goes awry. But I trust you will complete your objective before any grim sort of melancholy despondence comes over you, if you know what I mean."
I was fixing an old ZX Spectrum before I left my home world. If you could send message back to continue fixing it, it would do me no end of pleasure.
He just sort of nods and says, "I'll make sure that the Mechanicus hears that your works must continue, Ficus."
Thank you.
I do the kill assign, Emperor protect, and I wait for to split.
Okay, so he gives you the the basically orders for the lighter to take you down, and then go where you tell it and everything else, and that no one should give you any trouble on the way. But he says to make haste. If any of Bracken's cadre sees you, they may inform him and stop the mission before it begins. So it's scheduled to depart in an hour, so you guys have an hour to do anything you need to do before you head off. So if there's any last minute things you want to prepare for, or break people out of jails, it's up to you.
Well, can I buy retroactively summer charges, because I did not know they had charges?
Yeah,
okay.
Sure. Anyone else?
Do we know what the other cadre looked like? The Bracken's cadre, was it?
Yes, they all wear hooded veils that go over their eyes. You saw it when you were talking to them. They all seem to follow the same pretense. Yeah. Okay. Anything else anyone wants to do?
Not really.
What prisoners do we have on the ship, Honor? Because I want to free all of them.
Mostly, well, you have that heretical cult guy. You have Demetrius. There's several hundred poor souls that Bracken has taken captive that he believes are traitors.
Where is the open?
Demetrius is imprisoned here?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the person he wanted to think about freeing, yeah.
Yeah, because we could use him on the planet, because he knows it. Well, he might know it.
We've been through some tough times, but we made it.
Let's just head to the lighter. Lighter, sorry.
The lighter, okay. Yep, sec.
How does the interrogator react to my eyes, by the way?
Get off the table, Victor.
Okay, so you guys stealthily make your way down to the hangar deck, acting casually as if everything is as it should be.
If anyone looks at me wrongly, I'll lightning bolt them.
Lightning bolt.
Yep.
And you get to the hangar control room that you're quite usual to, hangar control A203. And when you enter there, unfortunately, you find undoubtedly one of Bracken's crusaders, as he calls them, talking to one of the adepts casually. You're not sure what he's doing here, but you're quite certain if he spots you, he'll know who you are. So, what do you want to do?
Where's the lighter?
The lighter bay is in there.
Flashbang?
Hold on.
Like, you guys just come through the door and then, do a double take and then slip back out as you can see him there, if you know what I mean.
Okay, so, alright. He's in within range of a flashbang. Let me just have a look.
You're actually gonna flashback?
No, don't flash.
How about I just flash him and then bang him?
I have hallucinogen grenades still.
Oh,
No.
Those don't work
God.
very well.
I have two ideas. Either Zarkov does a psyker thing, like suggestion, look at the floor, or
I say we just risk it, and if need be, I will cloud his mind so he will not report until it's too late.
Or I have another idea as well. I could ask Ficus to set up the Voxcaster, and I could try to deceive someone needs to have a talk with him
Yeah, let's
with
do that
the
one.
Crusader.
I'm gonna roll techies.
But first, I need to know who that agent is.
Crusader.
Yeah, that's Crusader. I need to know the name.
I pipe up and say, I have a power to erase the man's memory for several minutes.
So I'll go up to him, talk to him, say like something, and then erase his memory, and then leave.
I don't know about that one.
Erase the memory of us, and then we go ahead.
Okay, so you just erase the memory of you guys. Yeah.
I don't know, like.
Well, are you going to do it? I mean, it's up to you.
We're
You
planning.
guys decide what to do. You're the players.
It's a 10-meter range, so what I suggest is that if we like walk to the ship, and if he notices us, still might not notice us, and if we walk to the ship and then just like we'll get him to come to the ramp or wait for him, and then cloud his mind, and then we take off.